What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rideshare Hub. My name is Greg Wave. I'm going to do a video for you guys today on some of the not so good cars to do for ride sharing. A lot of these are from personal experience. A lot of these, hopefully you'll know, but I see a lot of cars with Uber and Lyft stickers driving around Phoenix here, and I'm just like, what are you guys thinking? So, excuse me. So, let's jump right into it. But, actually, before we get going, guys, I wanted to tell you guys about a really awesome thing called Get Upside. Get Upside is a great way to save money on gas. 25 cents off per gallon the first time you use it. That alone is freaking worth it. Every time after that you use it, you're getting pennies off on the gallon for people you refer. So if you're referring a bunch of people and combining it with Uber's fuel rewards, I mean, you're talking you could be saving 20 cents per gallon every time you fill up. And that is just an absolute must. I spend on average $150 a week on gas. So if I can trim that down by $80, you best believe I'm doing it, So I really want you guys to look into it as well. The referral code is in the description below. Alrighty. So what we're going to be doing, yes, the worst cars to drive for Uber and Lyft. Now, my inspiration for this video was a Ford F-150 that I've literally seen multiple times driving around Phoenix for Uber and Lyft. And it blows my freaking mind because I don't know what this dude's thinking. Now, if I'm like really just confused and it is like the world's most legit ride sharing car and somebody watching this video drives like a big truck, leave me in the comments because I really would be curious to know the logic behind that because I see none. But yeah, because I mean, from what I understand, it doesn't qualify for XL. I think the only thing you could really qualify would be for oh god, what's it called? Uber Black. If you had like an all black truck with all black leather seats and you were a certified black driver or whatever. I know you have to get some certification to do it. But so I was just like, okay, I don't know if people are just like naive or it's just the only vehicle they have. That's all they can do. Like if you're just in a situation, obviously I understand that. Like times are tough, and even if you can only make an extra $100 a day because you lose 50 of it to gas, that's tough, but you're doing what you got to do. We're all hustling. We're all grinding, So let's talk about the worst cars you can drive. Number one has got to be a truck. I mean, a pickup truck, you're talking bad on gas mileage. With some of the bigger SUVs, they don't get good gas mileage, but they qualify for Uber XL. And I had a buddy who had an all-black Escalade. So he qualified for Uber Black and Uber XL, and he gave a surge ride one time where he took home an $800 payout for one ride. Now it was like, I believe, a 2.5 hour ride. So I mean, not something you're gonna. I mean, that's like a once in a decade type of ride, or once in a year type of ride, or whatever. I haven't done Uber XL or Uber Black, so I can't really attest to how often you make money like that, but he made $800 off one freaking ride. And it was because he got like a $20 surge on like a 2.5 hour ride with like Uber Black and Uber XL bonuses, right? I believe he said it was both. Maybe it was just one, but still, I know he said he made an $800 fare. Absurd. So that being said, like if you're compromising saving $20 a day on gas for Uber XL, it's probably worth it because you'll probably make more than that 20 a day. Now, I really don't know how good Uber XL is. He wasn't a guy that drove a lot, and he's the only guy I've ever really known that's done Uber XL. So I would also be curious if any of you are Uber XL drivers, leave some comments on this video and let me know, like, is it really worth it, or is it kind of crappy on the weekdays and really just good on weekends? I'd be really interested to hear like how beneficial it actually is. But so with trucks, like you're not even really getting XL. I mean, not really. You're not at all getting XL. And you're not, I mean, unless you have Uber Black, it's like you're just giving Uber X rides and paying more gas to do it. Now, I think a lot of people would like getting picked up in a truck, as far as trucks feel a little more luxury. They definitely feel safer. So maybe it's that much better for tips as well. You know, that's another question I can't really answer, but worth checking out, I guess, if you want. But as of now, I would say that a pickup truck has got to be the number one worst car you could drive. Number two is way too compact of cars. I drove, well, rented, back when I was doing Lyft's, what do they call it, like Accelerate Rewards program or something like that. Basically, where you rent a car from Lyft. I rented a Chevy Malibu. The gas mileage was very average. Like, I want to say it was like 28 per gallon. So, I mean, good gas mileage, but like I've seen like Nissan Maximas and like bigger cars that got that type of gas mileage. And I used to drive a Nissan Altima that was way bigger than the Malibu. And it even got better gas mileage. So the problem with this little Malibu, it was super compact, really, really tight, and it had like the world's most uncomfortable freaking seats. I got the worst like butt cramps, and like just my back and my neck was constantly in pain from driving that car. And passengers were literally complaining about how uncomfortable the seats were. And if there was a taller guy, they were done for. I mean, their knees were just like mashed up against the seat. So really tiny cars like that, where you're losing a lot of the leg room and a lot of the comfortability, are just not going to be good bets on something you're going to want to be doing. So I would really like strongly go against like driving a really small car. Like when you're looking at a car, basically sit in the front seat and see how you feel all the way extended. I mean, granted, if you're not that tall, you know, it's probably not a big deal. But for me, I really need the leg room. I'm 6'2". My knees will be swollen, and I'm not even like the tallest person. I've met guys that are like 6'5" that are driving around little freaking Priuses or something. And I don't know how they do it. I think they compromise their joints for 50 miles per gallon. So trucks and really tiny cars for number two. A lot of these smaller cars do get great gas mileage, but if you're getting like an average of a 4-star rating with like, you know, people constantly telling you they're not comfortable, that's not going to be good, because here's what I can promise you. You're 100% not getting a tip if they're that uncomfortable. Next up, I would say on the list there's a lot of bigger SUVs, and this is kind of a similar concept to the truck, but if you're driving an SUV that only seats 6, it's like, what's the point, you know? And a lot of you guys might say, well, again, it's the only car I could drive. And like I said earlier, I do understand that, but you could always look into Uber or Lyft's rental programs. I would kind of say don't look into Lyft's. It's really not the greatest, but maybe look into Uber's rental program instead, and maybe that's like a better option for you and what you're doing. Let's see. So, yeah, bigger cars, obviously not a direction you want to go. Bigger cars that don't seat, I believe you need 7 seats to qualify for XL. I don't even think 6 makes the cut. Like most minivans are going to have way more than 6 seats. I think most minivans are pushing 8 seats. But so with a bigger vehicle, I mean, the main criteria you're just going to build that off of is if you can or can't do that for XL. And even then, I'm not even too sure. But some other cars, I would say any kind of older town car isn't going to be the best. You know, if you're talking that, I mean, if you're going to drive a sedan for Uber and Lyft, you want to be getting 30 miles per gallon. If you're driving any 4-door car that's not an SUV or a minivan that you're not getting 30 miles per gallon on, you're not doing the best. So, like, this is a bad example, but my second car I ever bought was a 1995 Buick Roadmaster. And that thing was like a freaking fishing boat. It was so big. It was super long. It was the longest freaking car. I couldn't believe it. I mean, just so much size on that vehicle. And it was it was tough to park, tough to get around on, and a really tough car to drive. So obviously a vehicle like that isn't going to be the best, and it didn't even get the best gas mileage. And a lot of those town cars don't get, you know, they're more like 24 to the gallon, which with all the driving we do, that's really not going to be what you're looking for. And for those of you that don't know what a town car is, go look in your grandma or grandfather's garage, and they probably have a town car. Those like older school Lincolns and Buicks, like those cars are never going to be good because for one, they suck for navigating around on. The one thing I do really like I have this Nissan Sentra. What I really like about it, it's not quite as big as I'd want it, but I can like zip all around the city. And for times with like traffic and stuff, it's really good for weaving in and out of car lines, which probably shouldn't do, but I do. Haha. Yeah, but I think that about wraps it up, guys. I mean, the main principle is you just want to look for fuel-efficient, spacious cars. I have a video on the best cars to drive, so check out that one too. But just in the frame of thinking, think Honda Accord, think Camry. Think those types of cars. Anything that's not like that, you're probably just going to want to avoid. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I'm going to leave you guys on that one. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I got more content coming for you guys soon. Hope y'all have a killer week. Crush it out there. Make them tips. Make that money. And I will talk to you all soon.